Hey everyone, and welcome back to Tiny Atoll. It's been a week or two since the last episode. I'm very sorry, but all the other kind of projects came into the way. But today, as promised, and you guys kept me giving advices and answers and whatnot, we are going to talk about the process of building a wonderful bush dog habitat. Also alongside it, there will be a little bit of a restaurant, and everything you see today is a bit more on the simple side of things, a bit more approachable, a bit more easy to recreate, because one of the bigger feedbacks has been lately that most of my builds are great, but most of them you guys don't feel like comfortable recreating because it's too complicated, too time consuming. So I'm going to show you a build today that took in total about 2 hours, like 2 hours about, a little bit less. So I think the recording is about 1 hour 40, and then there's a bit I didn't record, but not too much. So the first thing we did is a bit of a backstage area. Very simple. I crammed the facilities into the mountain shape here. By just moving them in, and then I created a bit of a nice front that looks almost like as if there is like a real building below. This is the little bunker I talked about in the last episode. So the idea is that this is going to be the shelter for animals and people when there is like flooding or a storm going on, so they can bring them all over here. We're also going to do some fun vehicles at some point that will be used in this project as to transport the animals relatively quickly. So the first step for every habitat or build I do is I'm gonna lay out the area so I have an idea of the perspective. So I'm gonna start very simple, putting some simple blocks in, not even the full building, and then I put already my facility down so I have an idea where they do stand. And in this specific case over here, I needed to have an idea where the backstage area is, where the staff can bring the bush dogs in and the bush dogs then can walk out. I'm also using the standard door piece from the game, because this is essentially the best piece to be used, because that's the smallest bit you can get for keepers to access a room or an area. So the door is perfectly shaped in order to make sure if you keep that size, this open hole, this is exactly kind of the size you will need to have your keeper still be able to go into the habitat. Then I use some of the very common tricks to use these kind of, what's that, icing pieces or stalagmites, I forgot what exactly that is, but they look some really cool mud walls type of thing, stone walls. They just have a very interesting texture, and it's a very common thing to do. I do want to mention at this point always the likes of Caesar Crates, for example, or also who's also very good at that. Meanwhile, Leaf has also become very good at that, but Jash is good. So like a couple of people, either from the Zoo Creations, but also from Bro Nation, they have been even, I have to mention as well, they have been very good at kind of innovating the way how zoo-ish kind of backdrops look, with what kind of stone textures you can use, what kind of mud textures you can use, and there's some very interesting pieces in the game that you can repurpose for these kind of things. We also have some plant pieces that from the lower side, like from the bottom part, looks very nice, like kind of dirt road kind of texture, and that is so cool that you can really use this nicely. But for this specific habitat, the inspiration I took is from, again, I do often use ZooChat as an inspiration source. ZooChat is like a forum where dedicated people have like a lot of talks about zoos, but also they share a lot of their own pictures, not like typical high class zoo pictures. No, these are like typical snapshots either from cameras or smartphones, and you can really tell details of the habitats. And there I found a very nice bush dog habitat. I forgot which zoo it was from, but I took loose inspiration from this to have some different types of layers in here. So we do have that one grassy area with the burrows where they can go in. We have some rocks over here to climb, where there's going to be a viewing area for smaller kids, a very low one-side glass, I assume it could be, but I used just some normal glass, but technically that would be one-side glass, where they can have a little look at the animal. Oh, I'm sorry, my voice completely crackled here. I needed to do a little cut and have a drink. I got a little bit of partying yesterday, didn't fully recover from that. I'm sorry, I'm not actually. It's been a very fun party. At this point, what I was going to mention is that the viewing opportunities in this habitat, I will talk about that briefly in the real-time part too, but I think I can still get better at this, keeping the people and animals even better in mind. So with this build, what I did is, as you can see over here, this is where the kids will be able to see and also get some little seating options with some, nice little cozy areas to sit down. And I imagine that this could be an area where also keepers give like a talk or educators give like a talk. I used some of these, how these things called from that little Mexican piñata, the kind of piñata pieces. They look actually pretty cool as these kind of rattan things, and they could be really nicely used in here for like a seating option. I'm quite happy with this. I will maybe even turn this into an education point. I could technically hide this somewhere in here and then have an educator hold a speech over there. Unfortunately, I can't turn these little stools into actual seating, but you get the idea, having people around. And then in the habitat itself, we have, as I said, different areas. We've got that little rocky area for them to climb where the kids can look into. We have like a bit of a nice muddy area to the left, which we are going to tackle right now. Almost like a bit of a foresty ground. And then we also have like a bit of a water feature in the center for them to splash down and have a bit of a cool. So yeah, in general, I think this habitat itself, despite the fact it's rather simple, as you can see, I'm not using too many crazy details, just putting a couple plants in here, having a few rocks stick out here and there, and changing the color ever so slightly to give it a bit more character. It's rather simple, but I think in terms of a zoo habitat, it comes the closest in this entire project already, because it just looks really cool. And then having the different viewing options for like lower fences, lower glass walls, lower areas here, and then the higher walls to give them more privacy and also silence to the back where they have their burrows and like the little area on the rocks, just kind of gives that nice match, between, or that nice balance between the things. And yeah, that's almost where I was already happy with it. So I moved over to the restaurant, and that one over here is going to be very simple indeed. I think it's potentially it can get the prize or like the trophy for one of my easiest yet good looking builds I've ever done. So I really don't use much. I used the bamboo pieces, kind of recolored into dried out bamboo brownish kind of vibe. Used some wooden pieces here to hide these very ugly edges of the bamboo pieces. Like there are the 3D bamboo pieces, the individual ones in the game, they look really good. But the bamboo wall set, I'm using it over here because it works fine if you do a nice combination with it, but it looks really bad. Honestly, the texture on it is super bad. It almost looks like it doesn't even look like real bamboo. It looks like as if you have a wall with like a photo kind of paper on it, and yeah, whatever. But I'm also using these freeform thatch roofs. I do love them from the set. I'm not the biggest fan of the thatch roofs that are not flexicolor, the very yellowish ones, but from the Indonesian set over here, the Asian set, oh my god, they're so good. I really love them. They're really having a fantastic texture. You can get different colors in, and yeah, just in general, I'm a big fan of this piece in general, so there's no need for me to make a custom roof or anything. I'm just still trying to hide some of the ugly edges away here, and then I tried to make my best in here using some of the wooden pieces to kind of make sure it all looks somewhat good, putting in some more bamboo to just kind of reflect on making it look a bit more seamless. And then I'm using some of the wooden pieces just to get a bit of character. And so I'm always like a bit of a, I don't know why the restaurant has the entrance where it has it, so this is why I'm putting the entrance realistically at where you would go in. And then on the other side, I'm going to put some more, different types of roof things, awnings, and then I ended up having a bit of a wooden wall behind here to just give the whole building a bit more of a nicer Caribbean look, I guess, at the end of the day. Again, nothing very crazy, just making sure things look good, getting in with a bit of a darker texture behind that cooking station, and then giving them also like a dark ground texture here. And that's basically all about it, there's not really much more I do. The next focus really was already on making the terrace go, where people could take a seat. And yeah, it's been a pain, as always, to do that with the pathing. You'll see that in a second. Pathing work was really pain as F again in this time. You know, there are so many people still saying that Planet Coaster 1 and Planet Coaster 2, Planet Coaster 1 and Planet Zoo are still the better games when it comes to pathing and stuff than Planet Coaster 2. But I tell you, if you've ever experienced the new pathing tool in Planet Coaster 2, you will never want to go back. For everyone who still says that the pathing tool in this game is better, you're just fooling, okay? That's just rage bait. There's nothing else. That's just pure rage bait, because I always was a supporter of the pathing because I thought you can still do most of what you want. And I still stand by that, you know? The pathing hasn't been as horrific as everyone has said, but it is by any means good in this game over here. It's not a good tool. As you can see now, I'm really trying my best here to cover everything, but you can see how much of a struggle it was to also get the alignment with the area. And it's all super flat. I mean, I already kind of flattened it as much as I could, but I didn't want to completely flatten it. But in Planet Coaster 2, you could just easily now use the conform to terrain option and use the whole area here without edges, like without the curb. And you're gone. You're done. You're gone. You're done. You could just easily then put your own texture on it, put a couple of things on the sides as you like, and that's basically it. But here you need so much trickery, so much weird ways to cover all the ugliness of the pathing away, which we will do with the fences and stuff like that. Right now, I'm okay with this, but it's always like the same. You always need to come around with ideas to cover things up, which is just fixing a problem that shouldn't exist in the first place. And I'm so happy that, 99% sure in Planet Zoo that's going to be fixed, because they will totally use the new pathing. There's no way they're not going to do this. If so, Frontier, just don't, okay? Just use the new pathing tool. That's all I want to ask you. But that's been it. We're doing a couple of, chairs and tables and stuff in here. But that's mostly about it. And it's time to hand you over to the capable hooves of the real-time Rudy. He's going to show you around this wonderful build. I'm very proud of it. And it is a bit more approachable, a bit more easy, but it's still very good. So enjoy that one. Okay, so here we are in the real-time part. And as you can see, this is the look to the bush dog habitat. And it is rather simple, but yet it looks really cool and realistic, just as I wish to. And there's our little restaurant area here on the left hand side that is also kind of, again, relatively simple, easy, but it does really fit the vibe. I've actually filled in everything here with the walls, and then on the right hand side over here we have also a little bit of a seating area, all nice and cozy, you know, very small, very condensed. But yeah, that's it. You've got a lot of very cool viewing opportunities. You can see there's a lot of verticality. I mean, not a lot of, but there is quite a bit of verticality in this habitat, which, look at that, there's one just going through that thing. Have a look. Ooh, it's glitching out a little bit, but their little snout comes out, just goes further and glitches further into it. I think this is because I'm using a mod where I can attach or actually change the terrain a little bit better. This is why the animation is a bit off, but yeah, well, it still looks kind of cool when they go through. And then we have all that wonderful kind of view here inside of the habitat, the different areas. I did check up, as I said in the time lapse. I did also get some inspiration from some cool bush dog habitats I found online, and this is not a 1x1 recreation, but it's very close to one I found. I forgot which zoo it was, but I just found it very interesting, like with the different elements, like that little pool in the center, the grassy area with the molds and with the, burrows for them, and then you have on the left hand side a bit of a nice muddy area where they have also some other shelters. So that is really cool. They can roam around nicely, and the kids can also, if you're a kid, you can also have some really cool views here. I think that's very fair. And then if you go over, you've got even a bigger view if you fancy having one. Like a lot of typical kind of zoo viewing opportunities, which I think I can even still get better at, these typical kind of viewing spots. Over here you have a bit of a dead spot, because I also want to, guarantee our little fellas a bit of freedom. And ooh, look at that little swimming. There we have it. This one is almost like completely gone, but there you have it. I really like how that looks, And then there is like one more little area here for the kids, even with some pillows where they can sit down, maybe even get some education, and then they can have a little look from over here and spot the animals, do whatever they do. I think these kind of rattan kind of thing from the whatever pack that was, I forgot. They look really cool, as these typical things you have in these regions. Pretty often, I feel like that fits very well in, and a very small little wall. Oh my god, what the heck? I need to put like a rock or something in here. This then is the entrance, hidden away from the guest perspective for now. It's gonna be hidden in the next episode a bit better. But yeah, I talked about this. This is the last episode from the big pre-recording batch I did, actually a month ago now. But here we are, actually over a month ago. So that is pretty neat. I really like that. Also, again, relatively simple kitchen, very approachable build, I guess, at the end of the day, which is a bit what I want to achieve with this project anyway. So, you know, it's been a little bit of a complaint that people wanted to have more approachable builds, and here we are. This project, I think, gives you exactly the kind of middle ground between making these things really nice looking, but also approachable. Also, I wonder why. I wonder why. I wonder how. Yesterday. Okay, so I'm just a bit confused right now why I forgot to. Let's just fix that. There we have it, and just bring that over here to the others as well. Yeah, we have one. I'm a bit confused to why I didn't put these things in. This is, by the way, the only reason why we have those. I'm going to put a couple of flowers or so in between. Is mainly because of the weird pathing I couldn't fix. So, yeah, this is a bit of a result of the pathing. But I will eventually put some flowers in between and maybe have some, you know, buffet kind of counters over here to do something nice with this region. Because otherwise it's just like really not usable. But hey, here we are. Let's jump out of this camera and actually go into the free look camera to show you around what the result is for now. And I'm pretty damn happy with the current result so far. So for the next episodes, I think for this island over here, we may have 4 more episodes. Maybe I have episodes ready a bit more quicker than once a week now. I skipped a week now because of all the other content, but I'm trying to have one kind of another batch working on this area maybe in one go, and then split that into 3 or 4 episodes. I don't know. My idea is to have like the harbor area on this side. We talked about that. Having a harbor is very much needed, so that's going to be where the harbor is going to sit. I have absolutely no idea which animals go into the other spots. You guys have had some really cool suggestions. We have some really small animals still to be done. We also, I think this region over here is perfect for like a very open natural flamingo habitat, because people were like asking for flamingos. And to be honest, flamingos, relatively seen, are not tiny, but I think I could get away with it, you know, for the zoo. So many people ask for them, and maybe they're like a little bit of an exclusion from what it is, but also in relation, they are also not tiny birds, if you will. So, I don't know. We got to be a bit more careful with this, I think, because technically flamingos wouldn't be a tiny animal. But I think for the style of the entire build over here, we got to go with the flamingos. I think I can't just get away without them. And I'm also thinking about putting something exclusive or more exotic on that island over here, maybe like a very shy animal. I don't know, or we'll leave that open as in a little bit of a nice area for people to relax or so, or maybe a backstage area. I don't know, but backstage is something I did already, you know, start over here. This is something I didn't show, but that's like a bit of a backstage bunker we have over here. What I said, this is where the, I mean, you can't really use it anyway, but this is where the the vet is in, and so the idea that this is kind of the security bunker for the animals will still remain. Again, we've got a little bit of a facility here for some food and drinks. We don't really have much to add. I think I'm gonna put a couple of vending machines maybe here in that spot to, you know, give this place a bit more of a meaning. But other than that, we don't really have that many facilities. We do have a bit of an info kiosk here. This is our first restaurant, and as soon as we have guests in here, this will be a bit of an area which is going to be a bit more frequented. So over here, I must also check that we have some more facilities available to them for some restrooms or so. We're gonna build some bridges. We're gonna build the boat tours. So a couple of things that still need to be done, and then we are going to go to these Tiny Atoll pieces, which most of those can only house 1 or 2 habitats at most, but the idea is to have then episodes, like one episode, actually that's going to be a bigger one, and 1 episode, and then we're going to finish that up. So my initial plan was to end this at Christmas Eve, but like this is absolutely not doable unless I just focus on only this, which is not possible at the moment. But I may actually do this. I don't know. You know, it depends a little bit on how the time goes, how efficient I am with the project. But yeah, I think it looks really, really damn cool. I still am pretty happy, but I don't want to extend this series too far. So really, my focus is gonna be finishing this up in a matter of time, but also making this believable, approachable as the habitats were so far as well. I think the only one that is a bit more detailed than usual is like this one over here. This is like a more typical Rudy, while the other ones are all a bit more, you know, down to earth, I would say, but like I think the most focused thing I wanted to do with this, the main focus of it was to make it approachable for you guys to be able to reproduce what I'm doing in here and to not go over the top and make, like, for example, a custom roof or so, which I do quite a lot, but like this series is aimed at making things approachable. Also, you know, on the route to Planet Zoo 2 next year, I shouldn't really start too many bigger projects, so whatever. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Just a little reminder, because we didn't have the promotion in, but if you want to have a game or something, please consider my instant gaming linky. It's always in the description. You get great discounts, and Black Friday is approaching as well, so make sure, even if you don't buy them yet, click there and put your bookmarks in if there's anything you're interested in. There will be some huge discounts upcoming next week with instant gaming, but you can also have already your games or favorite games, if the price is okay, by now. So thank you so much for watching. As always, if you want to support, otherwise you can also get a member of the channel, blah blah, you get all the stuff, whatever. I will see you, talk to you, hear you in the next episode. I can't wait. This is gonna be fun, and I like the project. So if you have any suggestions for animals, put them down in the comments below. I'm gonna look at them, and thank you so much, and goodbye.